before we talk about anything to do with the maps, we have to play the whole season of the 2025 WCS, right? So I do want a new map, but we do have to wait for that tournament to finish. But we're gonna say goodbye to Hashegi from the casters desk today, and it's gonna be Lobo and I are going to be casting our first, I guess, what would you say, a special exhibition match between ZeniGame squad and S8UL Esports. Lobo, this is going to be their winnings, right? This is part of the prize. They get to play one of the best teams, if not the best, in India at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is one of the reasons we want to enter these games. ZeniGame Esports, one of the best teams in the region. You want to go up against the best in your region to see how you stack up and to see how much you actually have to improve going forward into the UCS next season. But we've got Gyarados, Hooper, and ZeniGame Edge banned right off the pick, which means EX Mons are on the table if Charizard is going to be that last pick.
Yeah, we do have the EX Mons coming back potentially, and it seems like Urshifu is going to round off that ban from S8UL there. That means, yeah, like you said, Armourouge is on the table, Blaziken is on the table, Umbreon, which is what they like, is on the table, and I suspect perhaps they might actually choose this, and look at this! And this is what makes my day, Lobo, calling correct priors from Team ZeniGame squad.
Look, man, I'm going to have to learn from you because I keep getting baited when I select what they're going to pick before they pick it. You picked it right on the spot. Disapple's such a great frontline tank. He did incredible job with Mamoswine in the game against Resurrection. But we're also seeing Sadao, I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm going to get absolutely roasted in the comments. But picking up the second former EX mark, we have to call them Mons now, but we have to distinguish them somehow, right? With Ho being picked up as well.
Yeah, and I think just immediately on the screen, having those 5 Mons is just, not surprising at all, is it? Having Ho and Armourouge is such a great combo with that double fire spin if they want, or that armor cannon if maybe we get to see, coming out from S8UL here. So Mamo, another one that I'm not surprised either, and I think I hopped on it a little bit earlier with Hashigi, where I think Mamo's in such a great position at the moment. It is just so strong from the get-go, and it's not Pokemon you really need level 9. Because as soon as you get Ice Fang, the amount of isolation and damage and really I guess initiation you have with this Pokemon is already insane.
I'm still trying to figure out where Mamoswine came from. I don't remember any big buffs that came to it. I think someone played it in a tournament. People were like, hey, this is pretty good. But Garchomp coming out in right now. This is going to be interesting with the Fire Spin combination with the Ice Fang into the Garchomp. Really could cause a lot of damage for SAU Esports here. But Swifty opting for the Blissey and Illusion picking up the Greninja for... Greninja is a fan favorite Pokemon. We know it's one of the most favorite Pokemon worldwide, but not really hitting the top of the meta ranks right now in the competitive scene.
No, and I'm actually really surprised at this. I know Gren Bliss is obviously a duo that we love to see and something that has worked for a lot of the early seasons of Pokemon Unite, but seeing it come back into this game against something tanky like a Garchomp, Armourouge, and a Ho-Oh, and a Mamoswine, my best guess is probably going to be a Shuriken, to be honest. What can you actually serve into that team? And Leafeon, I think, is just great to round off Soul's team because it gives that early game advantage, right? Ho-Oh's already so good in the early game, able to either invade or let this Greninja kind of fall behind in that early stages of the match. Leafeon, if it's not actually invaded, it gets to really be aggressive early game. And I think those two things just make such a deadly combo for S8UL to actually bring to the table. And, with Pokemon such as Blaziken needing that level 8 or level 9, really, to actually make a proper impact. It means the pressure is really on from the get-go. And I love to see what ZeniGame actually does to combat this pressure that I'm sure S8UL are going to bring in that early stages. It
makes the Hooper ban a lot more... It makes sense because we know in the India region we love to see the Hooper invades. We've seen it multiple times before. That to slow down a central laner like a Froakie or like a Torchic that need as much time in the central area before those middle Altaria spawn, as opposed to a Leafeon. We know it's very interesting to me because we always talk about draft position, but Leafeon going 5th in the draft is almost unheard of considering how much of a powerhouse that Pokemon is. But we've got Froakie heading into the central area, Leafeon heading into the central area, Ho-Oh heading top lane, which is interesting for me. But Phil, I wanted to pick this up. Before the draft started, Zacian left on the table, which is interesting.
Yeah. Zacian is strong, but some teams, they just like to play a little bit differently, and that's when you see those Ho-Oh and, those Ho-Oh and Armourouge priors coming out from them. you know, Gibble and a Ho is incredibly scary on top, especially for something like a not an A presser like this Chansey that's going to be quickly knocked out by S8UL immediately. And something that's so good about this team and why this team is actually one of the best teams in the region is that something like that can actually punish ZeniGame squad, and they look for these opportunities to get ahead. And once they're ahead and they get the wheels rolling, Lobo, it's going to be very, very hard to come back from that. Especially when you have a Frogadier that needs that Greninja evolution, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Would Torchic getting behind on those levels, and now a Leafeon with both buffs headed into that top path as well. This is going to look bad for ZeniGame squad. Ho is going to look for the engage, going onto the Altares here, but big! I believe that was Dragon Rush coming from the Garchomp, moving everything that way, and it looks like Solid Esports got a lot of the pressure coming up, but Leafeon, what I like about this, Leafeon didn't stick around. It disengaged straight away. We've got a fight going on. Torch is going to take on a Gabite. Oh, it gets pushed back! And a beautiful takedown from the Gabite on Solid Esports. The positional awareness to because both Torchic and Gabite have those redirectional moves in Blaze Kick and I believe Dragon Rush, right?
Well, that's the thing, right? Because the Torchic was still a Torchic. It didn't have that access to that move without the Combusken evolution, and that just means that Gabite is going to be able to take all this neutral farm and really get ahead there. We have a level 6 Gabite against a level 5 Combusken, and they really want that top path for their team. And, you know, as we see both teams collapsing onto this, I guess, birds in the middle, it gets, you know, soaked up immediately, it seems. And we have 4 members of S8UL converging onto that top path there, looking for some dunks. They know they're strong in the early game. They want to break that top path ASAP. And without Leafeon able to be KO'd by the Greninja, this could be a turn of tables there for the Greninja. They are able to pick up another one for ZeniGame squad. And, a little bit of a tough scenario here. What seemed like a great aggressive move has just turned its entire head on its end. Here comes members of ZeniGame squad to have a siege on this tier 1 pad.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about it before, Fu, where you thought possibly a Shuriken build, but no, ZeniGame squad have decided to go full-on aggressive against one of the top teams in India. The Surf's proving really vital. Miraidon had no choice but to try and get out there, but then got caught again out of the blue and then had to come back in. ZeniGame squad have come back into this, taking the lead in points. Levels pretty even. Greninja's got that Unite move as well, but Soul 8 Esports is going on to that bottom pad. Umbreon has to do something to ward them off. Mamoswine getting a nice dunk in there. Leafeon's going to start the Red Ice as Armourouge comes and helps it out. But in the top lane, ZeniGame squad, they've got an ally in the Regieleki.
Yeah, they do, and it's going to be a 4-member, including that Regieleki, seems that might just walk in, and seems like this Gabite nearly let it in for some reason. They don't have that Garchomp Unite move at the moment, but the Ho-Oh is going to be here to really negate any sort of power coming in from the game. So the Water but Shuriken goes through, but it gets, you know, absolutely countered by the Garchomp Unite that actually doesn't connect at the end of the day, but it is enough to push this Greninja back into their side of the map, and, you know, without even knowing, they're letting a 40 dunk from this Leafeon.
Yeah, look, Leafeon didn't even bother going to that top fight to defend. It went and took the central area away from the Greninja whilst it went to go help its team push it on in. And it managed to get on out, get that 40 dunk in. Beautiful Ice Fang misplaced, but it does go down for that. The Electro is going after Armourouge, the Armor Cannon, managing to take down the Greninja and the Bliss Eater. Beautiful double KO, but decides to back off because that Miraidon has such a good zoning ability for, like, you just don't want to get near it because of how much damage that it does.
Yeah, it does do a lot, and I think I'm really glad to see this Armourouge actually going with that full mage set. So the Armor Cannon and the Sideshock's going to come through there, which means that it has that incredible range once it gets to that plus move at level 11. But speaking of, I guess, just engagements, we have potentially another fight in this bottom path. We talked about how these teams love to really fight each other, and that's exactly what's happening. As we quickly pan down into this bottom path, we have, you know, members really in very aggressive bush positions for ZeniGame squad, and I don't know whether they were just waiting on an opportunity, but they are going to be backing up to that pad because that base Reggie is about to spawn soon. Oh,
the patience of the Leafeon. He was standing in that bush for about 15 seconds, probably pulling the Emerald 2-step. Miraidon going down almost at full health to that Leafeon. The incredible patience. Ho-Oh Mamoswine going to be able to hold a pad with that Armourouge, putting the damage on. What I really like about the Armourouge moveset, it's gone full damage, which means that Umbreon passive is going to get removed very quickly, especially with a combination of Sky Attack, Mamoswine, Earthquake. So what makes Umbreon really, really strong is its ability to just run at you and walk forward. That's going to go go away with those range moves that it's got. But their two attackers are heading on the top lane. Blaziken and Miraidon in the top lane, taking on Garchomp and Leafeon as their two defenders, and Armourouge decide to do what they can in the bottom lane. They're doing a beautiful job defending, but the Regieleki goes to the side of ZeniGame's squad. 4 minutes for 84 to 155. In a blink of an eye, Solid Esports have managed to take the lead on points.
Yeah. I'm so interested to see how this Leafeon just like is so nonchalant trying to go in to score, and while this Regieleki is about to walk in, but it seems like they got everything under control. Going on, the Greninja is able to potentially push that Regieleki in though. As we pan to the bot path really quickly, we see that the Miraidon is having a bit of harassment coming out from the Mamoswine, but the biggest thing on breaking news tonight is that top path getting broken from an incredible Blissey Greninja duo that we talked about before. That Unite move able to just do so much damage with not only the Gren Unite, but also that Bliss Unite onto that Gren. And it seems like both teams are now looking to try to go for this basement Reggie, and more members of ZeniGame squad have turned up to this fight. Mamoswine having to pop its Mammoth to really push out the Blaziken on 1 HP, but the Armor Cannon is ready to go for the secure, but with Umbreon, like you said, running at it, that Greninja's going to have the freest uncontested secure of its life.
Yeah, absolutely. Armor Cannon not able to go past the Umbreon, still had its passive once again. You're right, this Leafeon playing way off in that off-laner kind of role, more akin to an all-rounder you would say, but it is just roaming free. Leafeon's so strong. It's level 13, Fu, at 3 minutes, a level 13 Greninja as well. It is duking it out between the two central areas. Leafeon just unbothered by anything that comes its way. With 50 seconds on the clock, 228 to 211. Garchomp level 12, Armourouge level 12, Miraidon level 12, Blaziken level 12. Pretty even across the board in terms of levels, as we've got a little skirmish possibly coming out here in the top path.
Oh, Blissey going down is going to be a little bit strong for them, as the Leafeon has to pop its Unite move. So a late Unite move by Leafeon, but it does manage to get out safely. And actually, to its side of relief, going those and taking those Pokemon out means that they're going to be able to get that Regieleki away from ZeniGame squad. They do afford some points coming in from ZeniGame at that bottom path, but the biggest problem was that Regieleki, and it was in their favor this time, which means that Garchomp is ready to perhaps get a 100 dunk in, making them in the lead. So I don't know whether the teams of ZeniGame can actually see that at the moment, as Mamo and Ho-Oh is both trying to get vision in this middle bit for that Rayquaza as it's
oh. Garchomp managing to get a takedown on the Blaziken. Mamoswine's gone in, decided to try and arm Earthquake his way on in. He's trying to Ice Fang anything that can. Miraidon just has to move up. The big Mamo mashes come on out from the Mamoswine as it gets supported by the Sky Attack from the Ho-Oh. Blissey has to pop Bliss Assistance to save the Miraidon, but Miraidon is still not down, Fu, as all hell is breaking loose. Leafeon is back up. Still no Unite move on the side of Solid Esports, but here we go. Everybody heading back on into that central area to go for a rematch, but Ho-Oh still has access to that Revival Blessing, but only 24 Eos in its pocket. Oh, wait, I could be wrong. No, 24 Eos in its pocket, Fu.
Yeah, there are definitely more Unite moves available for S8UL, and like you said, the Resurrection is going to be very impactful for them as the two-step goes through, picks up the Blissey, as the Meteor Storm is going to go through and try to peel itself away from the fight. I don't even know what it hit or when it hit, but it definitely did some major damage, but it is going to be actually the Kaboom, the Psycho-Boom onto that Armourouge to try to pick off the Blissey, and the Mamo goes down as well though. So a little bit of an interesting scenario there as we have the Blaziken starting to rip on this Rayquaza. They know they're still ahead though, so maybe just to bait the team in, I'm not too sure. They know there's no Leafeon Unite anymore. They know the Gren Surf is going to be really good with the Blaziken as well. So I'm keen to see what S8UL actually do here with 30 seconds remaining.
Leafeon looking for a back cap here. Gren spotted it. Gren has spotted it. Ho-Oh had to use its Revival Blessing. We saw the Emerald two-step come on out. And Greninja actually taking down the Leafeon. It is back on in. Both teams are inside the area. Garchomp's going to pop its Unite move as well. Ho-Oh is on a whiv and a prayer. Who is going to secure? And I believe that went to the Blissey of all things. And ZeniGame squad with 7 seconds to go. They were already in the lead, but they're probably going to pop in another Hundo Burger just to ensure it this time around, Fu. But what a tail end to that match.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually really surprised that Armourouge didn't get that. I feel like no one was actually running at it at all, and it had the freest charge of Armor Cannon, but maybe it was a miscommunication, or maybe they just ripped it a little bit too fast for its liking, but not having that secure onto that armor cannon onto that Rayquaza was quite surprising to me. But, like you said, we'd never expect Blissey to secure those when you have something like a Blaziken and a Greninja. But when it mattered, Swifty definitely came in clutch, and that ended the first game in this exhibition match against S8UL. So what a fantastic, I guess, resilience that they showed right after losing the grand finals, but really coming back and showing that they can still dominate other teams and they can still play that Ray fight incredibly well, incredibly patient as well.
Yeah, look, and our Ray fight is, our exhibition match is a best of 3 as well. So that's not the only game that we are going to be watching. ZeniGame squad are going to go try and take a 2-0 against Soleil Esports. But Soleil Esports, after going down, they have been on the sidelines. They've been watching the games. ZeniGame squad has been in this tournament since we started. So let's see if Soleil Esports can come out of the gate swinging. For Mifu, it's Mifu, but what was the standout Pokemon for each team for you on both teams?
Well, I mean, it depends how you define standout, right? I mean, if standout is something that is unusual or unexpected, it's definitely the Surf Ninja. And I mean, at the end of the day, they still end up winning the game. And especially that, like I said, that Bliss Assistant onto that Gren ult at the top half there, breaking that tier 2 pad, I think was just so monumental for their team. And I think it really caught S8UL by surprise because suddenly they have to waste resources to worry about a third Regieleki when it seemed like if everyone just backed maybe in a little bit more advance, they could actually stop that Regieleki from going in and putting themselves in that situation. And being on the back foot going into that Rayquaza fight meant that it felt like they had to do something there, right? And the Garchomp obviously picking up the Blaziken, but going down to the Greninja meant that there was no one to really back up something like a Mammomash that actually played really well, right? They bait out the eject with the initial Earthquake, then they used the Mammomath to quickly bait out the Bliss Unite, but I don't know what S8UL was actually looking at that when the Mammo made that engage, which meant that Miraidon gets away for free, it gets to use its Unite move, and really turn the tide of the battle, but enough yapping from me anyway. This is the game number 2 between S8UL and ZeniGame squad logo.
That's what we're here for. We have to speculate. We have to give these ideas. But Umbreon getting banned straight away from the side of ZeniGame squad.